Hey, this is Sam Black with a cube draft with the Twisted Cube. I've done a few of these to prepare and figure out what I'm looking to do in this format, and I've come to the conclusion that I think you want a proactive game plan. Well, let me adjust this so we don't have anything off the screen. The linear stuff is pretty real. This definitely does play. I was skeptical that it might not play differently than a regular cube to begin with, but having played with it, it definitely does. Cards like Patron Wizard, I think, are supported. Same with the Johnny's Pride Mate. Most of the stuff that it looks like can be put together, I think, can. I'm not exactly sure that I know every mechanic that's going on in every color. I know white has a lot of reanimation and stuff. So that said, despite the fact that I think it's clear that you want to be linear and probably proactive, I'm going to first pick Ugin because it's just extremely flexible and powerful. I think it was a pretty clear pick there, unless it becomes clear that there's a single best archetype in this cube that you just want to be forcing. But given that you're trying to stay open, I think Ugin's a pretty easy first pick there. Here, I really can't possibly get away from Sheldock Isle when I'm starting with Ugin. I know that there are a lot of different mechanics in this cube that are specifically good at turning on Sheldock Isle. Blue and black is doing a mill thing. Green and black is doing a dredge graveyard thing. So it'll be potentially very easy to get Sheldock active, although it basically always is in Limited and Cube in general. And I could potentially cast Ugin off of it. And none of these other cards are real standouts. Underground Sea and Stomping Ground are obviously good lands, but everything else, I mean, Loyal Retainers does the thing that it does well, but it needs you to get one of a few specific cards to turn it on. Everything else is pretty narrow and archetype specific. So I feel pretty confident in these first two picks, and here things are starting to get interesting. So there's not an obvious standout for me in this pack. This card is actually pretty impressive. I had it in the last draft that I did, and just was able to discard Gristlebrand and use it. And it's just a solid body that can either generate small amounts of value off something like Shriekmaw, or just functions as basically a reanimation target, or a way to reanimate Gristlebrand. I think I just want to go with River of Tears here, because there's no real standout for me. Tidebinder Mage is a solid blue card. I was going to say blue aggressive card, but blue is generally trying to be aggressive in this cube. Basilisk Collar, I think, has a lot of synergies. It would be reasonable to try to draft around it early. Braids is a really powerful card that's well supported. There's a lot of token stuff, but I think Braids into Ugin is difficult to pull off. Here I'm looking at Edric is a powerful card, although there aren't really a lot of mana elves, which is what Edric's best with. I guess it's just working with evasive blue attackers. Marsh Flats is obviously a relatively safe way to go. Seeker of the Way actually strikes me as a reasonably powerful card. It's just a solid body and sends you down a path of a life gain theme that's reasonably supported, but it's fine in just like a normal blue-white deck. I don't think I want Snap. I'm going to go with Seeker of the Way, though I think Marsh Flats might be a safer pick. Here, cards that stand out. I have no idea how easy it is to turn on Circular Logic, but it's a powerful card. I don't think I want March of Souls. That doesn't look very good. I don't think I want this thing. I could try to do mill reanimate white blue thing that plays pretty well with Sheldock Isle, both because I want powerful creatures in my deck and I want to be milling myself. I think that's an interesting direction to go. It plays well with Seeker the Way, just in terms of it puts me down largely being a blue-white spell deck with this thing to buy time to get to do that kind of stuff. Gilded Lotus is generally a powerful card, especially if I'm trying to fill my deck with expensive cards that I'm trying to reanimate. Also, it casts Ugin. Also, if I end up being all of Esper, which seems likely, it's a good way to fix 3 colors of mana. If this weren't here, I'd be looking at Entomb, Pristine Talisman, and Godless Shrine. Probably taking Entomb to go with the Breath of Life. And I'd be pretty happy about it. Entomb would even be a reasonable pick here over Gilded Lotus, but given that I don't have a super powerful big creature to Entomb yet, I mean, I'll probably find one, but Gilded Lotus is a lot more flexible. I only have a single Breath of Life down this path, and I have Ugin that Gilded Lotus is going to help me cast. So here, it's worth noting that Peace of Mind is better than it normally is and better than it looks. There's both a life gain theme that I'm going down the path, that I'm potentially down the path of with Seeker of the Way, and reanimation, and it lets me discard a thing that I want to reanimate, but I'm still not willing to speculate on it. I'm just going to go with the Talisman. I'm open enough that I could be black and or red, and it's just an accelerator to get Gilded Lotus and Ugin down. Cards that stand out here are Arid Mesa, given that I have Talisman, Wall of Omens, Mishra's Factory, Outpost Siege, a lot of red cards. I'm going to go with the Arid Mesa. I think that I know that Tormenting Voice is in the cube, which makes me assume, I assume Faithless Looting and some similar cards are in. This can be, red could be a good way to get reanimation stuff going, and when I already have the Talisman and Gilded Lotus, that puts me pretty close to being able to splash it usefully. So, given that I'm doing this multicolor thing, I'm going to take Colonnade here. The first draft that I did, I just took lands when there wasn't like a standout cube card, and I think that that's a mistake. I think you need to have a clear plan, and I could even see taking Miraculous Recovery here to push my plan, but given how good of a dual land this is, and I guess I just feel safe going this direction because I know what I'm trying to do. Here, again, I could take Loyal Retainers to push the reanimation thing, but when I have Arid Mesa, I guess Arid Mesa doesn't find Underground Sea, but I still think that I'm trying to be 4-color, no green, and I think that real dual lands are important to that. Wow. Braids came back with Basilisk Collar. I think Braids is the most powerful card here that's not a double red commitment. For some reason I feel more comfortable with a double black than a double red commitment at this stage. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe I should be open to using this as a reanimation target, or as a reanimation spell. I think I want, it's either Sparksmith or Scrap Mastery. It would be Sparksmith for the sideboard or Scrap Mastery to see if I get there on some kind of milling artifacts and then returning them all to play with this thing. Mass Polymorph is interesting, although Lavamancer is just good. Let's go Lavamancer since I have Felden. And I got the Peace of Mind at the end of this, which is actually worth keeping in mind. I didn't want to say that I would table it because it needed to be the actual last card, but the possibility was certainly something that I was aware of. I assume that I want Nahiri if I'm trying to Breath of Life. It's a really good way to discard things. I guess Duretti also does that, but Nahiri's ultimate is going to be a big deal if I have big creatures in my deck that I want anyway. Yeah, I think Nahiri is a better version of doing what Duretti's doing. Baleful Strix and Liliana are obviously also fine cards, but I think Nahiri is the one that best plays with the direction I'm trying to go. So at this point I'm red-white splashing blue for Sheldock Isle with an openness to being black. I'm going to take Jace. It's obviously a powerful card and a discard outlet. I'm pretty sure that's all stuff I'm very much in the market for. Having these early creatures that draw removal spells makes me feel better about having Lavamancer. Just playing a bunch of small stuff to make my opponent try to find an answer to all of it. Daze is a powerful card, but I'm going to go with Mindslaver here. Since I'm going big mana, it's a good big thing to cast, and that's about it. I guess it's also like there's a decent amount of support for it in terms of stuff like Goblin Welder and Duretti to just do it extra times, which is nice. Also, there's nothing else here I super care about. I'd be looking at like Divert or Daze or Heart of Ramos or something. Ooh, Soulfire Grandmaster is interesting. I don't have stuff right now that I'd be buying back with it, but 2/2 lifelink is solid, and it's the same like kind of card as my other early stuff that I was talking about. I could Shambling Vent, but I don't know that I'm looking for black yet, although it seems pretty likely. Restoration Angel is also obviously just a good card, as is Abbot or Blood Crypt. Blood Crypt would help my black mana situation a lot because of Arid Mesa. But I'm just going to go for Soulfire Grandmaster. I should be able to find cheap spells that work well with this in red-white. I'll just more highly prioritize Lightning Bolt type effects. Crystal Shard stands out, as does Wall of Reverence and Creeping Tar Pit. Wall of Reverence, again, plays into this potential life gain theme, although I'm not sure exactly what payoffs I'd be looking for. Tar Pit is just a good... Oh, there's also Magma Jet, I suppose. Magma Jet's kind of interesting. I think Crystal Shard is the most powerful card fairly clearly. I don't have a lot of great come into play effect creatures, but there have to be a bunch, and it just does something really good. This is between Tundra and Wandering Fumarole. I'm going to go with the Tundra because I have Arid Mesa. I want my Jace Splash to be smooth. Oblivion Ring is also a reasonable card to take here. But I think that this is a good spot to prioritize a real dual land. They're just such great cards. Lightning Bolt. I'm pretty sure that I think that because Lightning Bolt is so good with Seeker of the Way, Soulfire Grandmaster, and Jace, it's better to take this than another card that wants me to have Lightning Bolt. Needle Spires would obviously be great, but I'm pretty deep on lands. I'm definitely more worried about having enough good spells at this point, and this is really ideal with so many of my cards. Mirror Battlesphere would also have been a kind of card that I'm looking for. I think I want Rolling Earthquake here. I don't really want Maze of Ith because I'm trying to get to a lot of mana. I guess Sarah Ascendant's on the table, since I do have some life gain, but I don't know that I have enough for this. I think this is a pretty powerful sweeper. It's also really good with Soulfire Grandmaster. Duretti came back, along with Baleful Strix and Squee. I think I want Duretti, so I can sacrifice an artifact. If I do, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield, so I can lose Talisman and get Mindslaver or something. +2, discard 2, draw 2 seems pretty good. Oh, and its ultimate just goes off with Mindslaver by itself. Alright, we'll go this way. Ooh, I think I don't need Hallowed Fountain because I have Tundra, so this is between Bruna and Niv Mizzet. I guess I have some good humans to return with Bruna, and I think it's a pretty good card. So I'll go with Bruna. Here's an angel to work with Bruna if I want, or a human to work with Bruna. It'd be funny to try to deck myself with Lab Maniac. I do have a lot of looting type stuff, but I'm going to go with Divert, I think. It's probably a sideboard card, but probably a good one, is my guess on it. Abbott seems like another good creature for my Jeskai creature strategy. I'm pretty solidly not black at this point, and Magma Jet's great with all this early stuff. I'm definitely moving away from the Breath of Life, Mindslaver, Ugin part of my deck, as I didn't really find any great reanimation targets, and I did find all these powerful cheap creatures. So I guess I'll take Mogwai Marshal here over Shadow Mage. Shadow Mage is actually better. It actually plays really well with having a bunch of other cheap high-impact creatures. The thing that I was talking about taxing their removal spells and stuff, it plays well with that, and I might not get there on the mana and might decide to cut it, but I could also see just going deep on this keep a little guy in play strategy. So here, the standouts are Force of Will, Vampiric Tutor, and Flame Slash. I don't think I have enough blue cards to be happy about Force of Will, and I'm generally relatively down compared to other people on Vampiric Tutor. I'm actually just going to go with a Flame Slash. I think that it plays so well with all of my early creatures, and I just think it's a good way to push the parts of my deck that are really coming together here. I think I have too many cheap creatures to want Goblin Slide, if that's even a thing that you ever want. I don't really know. It certainly could be. Murderous Redcap is the standout at the moment, or Vapor Snag, or Hangerback. I think I'm thoroughly away from Sheladrid, but maybe I shouldn't be. I do still have this Nahiri and Duretti. It's pretty easy to splash a small reanimation plan. I don't know that the payoff on red cap or hanger back is all that high. Vapor Snag is actually fairly tempting with all these things, but I might table it. Probably not. There are blue aggro decks that really want it. But I'm going to go with the Shelldrade here. Let's see. So Collective Brutality is not super easy for me to cast, but a good discard enabler that clears the way for animation thing. And other than that, I'd be looking at something like Stagger Shock or Spike Shot Elder or Cursive Chains that I'm not that into. Maybe Flash of Insight? Get a card. So it's like 3 mana, get a card, or more to get a better card. And then 2 mana and exile X blue cards. Never mind, I can't really do that well. I don't like Cursive Chains very much. Stagger Shock might actually be fine. Yeah, I'll go Stagger Shock over Collective Brutality because it might be too hard to cast Collective Brutality. So this is between Memory Jar, Fall of the Titans. Wooded Foothills is not the right land for me. Searing Meditation. Whenever you gain life, you can pay 2 to do 2 damage to something. I don't actually think I gain life enough for that. Maybe if I'd taken the Pristine Talisman and stuff, I could consider trying to go that way. I think Fall of the Titans will be pretty good in my deck. I have a lot of cheap cards. Feels a little weird to take it over Jar, but it also plays well with Gilded Lotus, obviously. First Instinct is Polluted Delta. I'm not going to have enough black mana for Liliana. Equilibrium is a sweet card, but I'm not going to have enough blue mana for that. Ashnod's Altar could let me cast Ugin, but I think I can just Delta here. Well, Nicol Bolas is a thing. Siege Gang's pretty good. But I just want a Bolas. I still have the Shelldock Isle and Gilded Lotus. I think it's kind of reasonable to play little things into some big spells. And I can easily discard it if I don't want it. First Instinct is Emrakul. I'm pretty good at different card types. I have a lot of instants, some sorceries, creatures, artifacts, planeswalkers, lands. I think Emrakul's very good. Greater Gargadon is a sweet card. This pack doesn't seem very good for me. I could Shrine of Burning Rage, I guess. I think it's between Shrine and Gargadon. I'm not doing anything that directly uses Gargadon well. I'll take Shrine, I guess. I don't know if I'm going to play it or not. So let's see. Iona is a good reanimation target, but I still only have Breath of Life, so I don't think that's the way I want to go. I think it's between Serene Steward and Blind Obedience. And I don't think I actually have that many ways to gain life, so I'm going to go with Blind Obedience. which I think might actually just be very good. I'm going to take Red Cap over Mangara. I'm going to take Spike Shot Elder over Fire Slinger. And Searing Meditation over those things. If I want more recurring small burn, I could potentially see siding this in, especially now that I have Blind Obedience, although it costs a lot of mana to cast a spell and extort and activate Searing Meditation, but I do have cheap spells. Divert's a sideboard card. I'm obviously going to have to cut a lot of stuff. It'll probably be a lot of the... I'm probably not going to play Shallow Dread. Probably not going to play Breath of Life. I'm undecided on Nicol Bolas and Shadow Mage Infiltrator. I'm not going to play any of these. So without putting any swamps in my deck, I have 5 black sources for Shadow Mage Infiltrator. I think I want Mog Fanatic more than Cloudfin Raptor. I think I don't want either of them main, and maybe I could imagine siding in Mog Fanatic. Oh, Last Pick Watergrave gives me an extra source for Shadow Mage. That might even be the difference in playing it or not. It certainly helps me cast Nicol Bolas. Alright, so let's see. We're going to take these out in a second, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This doesn't get black. 5, 6 black sources, plus Gilded Lotus, with no swamps. I think that's oddly enough for Nicol Bolas and not enough for Shadow Mage. I think I don't want Feldon because I didn't end up with big creatures that I want to use it on. I think my other ways of I think Lavamancer is a better Spike Shot Elder, and I don't want too much of that main. My curve is very long. 1 drops, 2 drops, 3 drops, 4 drops, 5 drops, 6 drops, 7 drops, 8 drops, X spells, and 13 drops. Apparently 13 is more than X, which I like. Very realistic on Moto's behalf. So there's a case to be made for cutting Talisman of Indulgence, in that... Well, I guess it's a pretty good 3-drop. I can just play a 2-drop, and then I can play Talisman into a 2-drop on 3, and then I can start having bigger mana. And it does stuff like trigger Blind Obedience and trigger Secret of the Way, so it's probably better than a land. And I do like 17 lands plus Talisman when I'm going this big. I have... So Shrine of Burning Rage is... traditionally a mono red burn style card that is great in that archetype. So I'm wondering if it's even better or as good here, where I may have fewer red cards, but I still have a lot, and I'm playing a long game, so I can just let it grow, and then it might randomly kill my opponent. But at the same time, I'm pretty good at winning late game without it, but on the other hand, it can also be a removal spell early if I want, but the problem with that is that it's really expensive at doing it. I could cut Crystal Shard, because I have no value creatures except Abbot of Carol Keep and Murderous Redcap. And I guess Bruna and Emrakul. I would hope Emrakul doesn't need it. It's not... Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut Crystal Shard. It's like sweet with red cap, but pretty expensive. So this will be my deck. Group creatures separately to see what that looks like. So let's look at my card type situation. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 planeswalkers, 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts, 1 enchantment, 1, 2 sorceries, 1, 2, 3, 4 instants, 8 creatures, and several lands that put themselves in the graveyard in various ways. So Emrakul should be pretty sweet. That's all I was getting at with that. This is definitely a weird deck. Although it looks more like a traditional cube deck than really any of the scripted archetypes in this cube as far as I know. But anyway, now let's figure out the lands. I believe I want to just play all of my non-basics since I'm playing Nicol Bolas, and all of the black lands except Blackcleave Cliffs make it easier to cast Murderous Redcap. It's possible that this will end up being too many sources of blue and black, given that I only have sort of 2 black cards and 2 blue cards. Yeah, River of Tears in particular is maybe not so likely to make it. Alright, so I'm a red deck with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white cards. Alright, so the most important thing is to have enough sources of red. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 red symbols, although Murderous Redcap really shouldn't count as double because I have all these random black symbols. So 12 red cards. I definitely want at least 8 sources of red, not counting Gilded Lotus. 1, 2... Not a lot of red naturally. 3 from the Talisman, so I want at least 5 mountains. It's a lot of my lands. We're definitely not playing 2 swamps. Right, so then I want... let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 white sources right now. 5, 6. We're going to want at least 7. Preferably 8. I'm guessing I'm not going to want an island because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blue without 1. This is like a red source shy of where I'd like to be. I could lose Watery Grave to add Mountain. That would leave me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue. Given that my only blue cards are Jace and Nicol Bolas, 6 blue is probably reasonable. And then casting Nicol Bolas would require a combination of Underground Sea, Nicol Bolas, Talisman, and Blackcleave Cliffs, or Gilded Lotus. I could just cut Nicol Bolas and play Crystal Shard and cut Watery Grave for a mountain. That sounds definitely reasonable. Nicol Bolas is really sweet though. Let's just make a note that that's probably right, but try it this way because it's more fun. Really do want one more red source, but I don't need my red super early. I mean, I do need to cast spells, I guess. Alright, I'll cut Nicol Bolas, but I'll look to side it in if the matchup is slower. Add a mountain. Sorry, I cannot also add a plains. Oh, I can because I haven't added the crystal shard yet. Okay. Alright, that's going to be my deck.